I'm Ethan, 31M, and what began as a casual family dinner 3 weeks ago has spiraled into a full-blown conflict that's threatening to fracture our family just before my sister's wedding. Let me set the stage with some background, because context is key. I've been a software engineer at a top tech firm in Seattle for nearly a decade. When I started, my salary was decent but nothing flashy. I lived in a tiny, shared apartment with 2 roommates, ate instant noodles more often than I care to admit, and drove a 17-year-old Toyota that groaned every time I made a right turn. But I had a goal. Every pay raise, every bonus, every tax return went straight into my savings account. I took on side gigs, coding websites and apps for local startups on weekends. I skipped social events, passed on vacations, and rotated the same 6 shirts for years. Why? Because I dreamed of owning my own home, not just any home, but one that was truly mine, something I could take pride in. Growing up, my parents were renters, bouncing from one lease to another. I saw them stress over rising rents, deal with unresponsive landlords, and live with the constant uncertainty of an unstable foundation. I vowed to break that cycle. 2 years ago, my hard work paid off. I bought a 2-bedroom condo in downtown Seattle. It's on the 15th floor of a sleek high-rise, with massive windows offering a stunning view of Puget Sound. The sight of ferries gliding across the water, Mount Baker visible on clear days, and the city's glow at night never fails to lift my spirits. At 1,200 square feet, it's spacious for Seattle's pricey market. The kitchen boasts quartz countertops and high-end appliances. The main bedroom easily fits a queen-size bed with plenty of room left over. The second room is my home office, complete with a custom-built desk and shelves I put up myself. Over the past 2 years, I've poured my heart into making it my own. Every weekend I tackled a new project. I wired the place with smart home tech, motorized shades, voice-activated lights, and a top-tier security system. I crafted custom storage solutions for the closets, sanded and refinished the oak floors after binge-watching DIY videos, and even taught myself enough plumbing to upgrade the bathroom fixtures. This condo isn't just where I sleep, it's the culmination of years of sacrifice and discipline. My sister, Lila, 27F, chose a different path, and I respect that. She's always been the carefree one, living for the moment. She studied communications in college, graduated with solid grades, and landed a job at a hip advertising firm in Belltown. She earns a decent living, probably around $80,000 a year, but Seattle's costly, and Lila loves the high life. Designer clothes, lavish dinners, weekend getaways to Sonoma, and the newest smartphone the moment it drops. Her social media is a polished gallery of artisanal cafes, beachside yoga poses, and daily outfit posts. For 3 years, she's lived in the same 400-square-foot studio in an aging building that hasn't been renovated since the early 2000s. The kitchen is little more than a stovetop and a compact fridge. The bathroom's so cramped you can barely move. But it's in the heart of Belltown, steps from her favorite bars and bistros, so she's never minded much. At $1,600 a month, the rent's a steal for Seattle, letting her sustain her lifestyle. 6 months ago, Lila met Nathan at a friend's engagement party. She was a guest, he was in the wedding party, and they clicked instantly. Nathan, 33, is a hedge fund analyst who never misses a chance to mention his Harvard MBA. Within minutes of meeting him, he'll slip in a reference. When I was at Harvard, or my Harvard mentor always said, or the Harvard network really paves the way. You get the idea? Nathan comes from wealth, East Coast, old money wealth, with a family that owns a beach house and a mountain cabin and uses winter as a verb. His dad's a managing partner at a law firm, his mom chairs multiple nonprofit boards, and his brother's married to someone whose name is on a library at Dartmouth. They're the kind of people with ancestral portraits in their foyer and who say, rustic, without irony. Their engagement happened fast. 4 months in, Lila called me, overjoyed, raving about the 3-carat ring and a romantic proposal on a private cliffside at dusk. I was thrilled for her, truly, though the whirlwind pace raised a small red flag. But Lila was radiant, Nathan seemed committed, and who was I to dampen their joy? Wedding planning kicked off immediately. Lila dove in with the fervor of someone orchestrating a gala. She hired a high-end planner, reserved a venue that costs more than most people's yearly income, and created a Pinterest board with 15 subcategories. Nathan fueled the frenzy, saying things like, "You only get one wedding," and "My family expects a certain standard." Which brings us to 3 weeks ago. Mom hosted her legendary Sunday pot roast dinner, a monthly ritual where everyone shows up, no exceptions. The dining room was cozy, filled with the aroma of fresh bread, everyone swapping stories about the past month. Dad was recounting a tale about a tricky client at the auto shop he runs. Mom was bustling about, offering seconds, and I was unwinding for the first time in weeks after a grueling project deadline. Then Lila tapped her wine glass with a spoon, standing up with Nathan beside her. "We have an announcement," she said, and I sensed trouble brewing. Lila doesn't do formal speeches at family dinners. "So," she started, glancing at Nathan for reassurance. "The wedding's in 4 months. Nathan's family will be flying in from Massachusetts several times, for the engagement party, the rehearsal dinner, and the wedding itself." We all nodded. This was old news. "The thing is," Lila went on, her voice taking on that persuasive tone she uses when she's about to pitch something absurd but wants it to sound reasonable. "They have high standards. Nathan's family is very traditional, very focused on appearances." Nathan cleared his throat. "My family values achievement and stability," he said, as if we should be jotting this down. "Where someone lives says a lot about their character and potential. First impressions matter in my circles." I still wasn't sure where this was headed, but I caught Mom and Dad exchanging wary looks. Lila took a deep breath. "Here's the deal. My studio isn't going to cut it. It's small, it's dated, and honestly it's embarrassing. Nathan's mom already has doubts about me not being from their world, and if she sees my place, she'll think I'm not up to par." Nathan added bluntly, "She'll assume I'm marrying below my level." The room fell silent. Dad set his fork down deliberately. Mom stopped rearranging the breadbasket. "So what's your plan?" Dad asked cautiously. Lila turned to me, and suddenly it clicked. My heart sank. "Ethan's condo is perfect," she said, her voice bright, like she was suggesting a group hike. 2 bedrooms, incredible views, modern everything. It's the kind of place that would show Nathan's family we're settled, that we're ready for this next step. "Lila," I began, but she barreled on. "Just hear me out, Ethan. What if we swapped places? Just for a bit. Until the wedding. 4 months tops. You'd stay in my studio, we'd live in your condo, and Nathan's family would see we're serious, capable adults ready to build a life together." I laughed, thinking this had to be a prank. "You're not serious." "I'm totally serious," Lila said, her sincerity making it worse than a joke. "Ethan, it's just 4 months. You're single, you work remotely half the time, you don't need all that space. We need it right now. You want me to move out of my condo, the one I bought, the one I pay for, the one I've spent years perfecting, so you can pretend it's yours to impress Nathan's parents?" "It's not pretending," Nathan cut in, his tone patronizing. "It's about presenting ourselves strategically. In finance, we call it optics. In life, we call it deception." I snapped. Lila's eyes welled up. "Ethan, please, this is my wedding. The biggest day of my life. Don't you want me to be happy?" "Of course I want you to be happy," I said, struggling to stay calm. "But Lila, you're asking me to give up my home, my actual home, so you can pull off a ruse for Nathan's family." "It's not a ruse," Lila insisted, tears streaming down her face. "It's about showing them our potential, who we're becoming, not where we are now." Mom finally spoke. "Ethan, would it really be such a burden? It's only a few months, and it would mean the world to your sister." I stared at her, stunned. "Are you actually siding with her?" "I'm not siding," Mom said, though she clearly was. "I'm just saying family supports family. When Lila needed help with her first apartment, you chipped in. I helped her move boxes for a day, I said flatly. I didn't give her my car and walk to work for months. Dad pinched the bridge of his nose. This does feel like a lot to ask, Lila. It's not that much. Lila pushed back. We'd take great care of your place. We'd keep most of your stuff there, so it still feels like yours. We just need to use it as our address, get mail delivered there, host Nathan's parents for dinner. And after the wedding? I asked. You move back to your studio and tell his family you decided to downsize? Lila waved it off. We'll deal with that later. Maybe by then we'll be ready to buy our own place. The wedding gifts will help with the deposit. You're planning to use wedding gifts to fund a place you're already pretending to own? I asked, floored. Nathan stood, his face flushing. I don't like your attitude. We're trying to start our marriage right, and you're being deliberately difficult. I'm being difficult? I stood too. You're asking me to vacate my home so you can lie to your family, and I'm the issue? It's not lying, Lila yelled. God, Ethan, why do you make everything so hard? This is why you're 31 and alone. You don't get what it takes to build a relationship, the sacrifices you have to make. That stung. It stung because there was a sliver of truth in it. I've been single for 3 years, my last relationship ending because my ex said I was too stubborn, too set in my ways. But this wasn't about compromise, this was about appending my life for Lila's facade. Maybe I'm single because I don't build relationships on falsehoods, I said quietly. The dinner fell apart from there. Lila sobbed harder. Nathan made snide remarks about family duty and what real families do. Mom tried to mediate while clearly backing Lila, and Dad just looked exhausted. I finally stood, tossed my napkin on the table, and left. Lila chased me to my car, tears streaking her face. Ethan, please. I'm begging you. Nathan's mom already thinks I'm not good enough. She's made comments about my job, asking if I have any serious ambitions, pointing out I don't own a home. If she sees my studio, it'll confirm all her doubts. Then maybe Nathan should defend you instead of asking you to stage this charade. I said. You don't get it, Lila said, her voice cracking. You've never been in love. You don't know what it's like to want someone's family to accept you, to want to belong in their world. You're right, I said, climbing into my car. I don't understand why you'd marry into a family that demands you pretend to be someone you're not. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, my phone's been relentless. Lila texts daily, swinging between calling me selfish and pleading for me to change my mind. Mom calls every morning with a fresh guilt trip. Your grandfather would be ashamed, she said yesterday, which is ironic since Grandpa left me money specifically because he said I was the only one with a head for finances. Aunts, uncles, and cousins have chimed in, half think I'm being selfish, that it's just a condo and I should support my sister. The other half of the family sent me private messages, saying they understood my stance but urged me to keep the peace for the sake of family harmony. Julian sent me a lengthy email about family values, emphasizing how in accomplished families, people make sacrifices for each other's joy. He mentioned his Yale MBA 4 times in 3 paragraphs. He also suggested that my refusal to help indicated jealousy of their relationship and achievements, which is absurd considering I'm the one with the condo they want to claim. But yesterday was the worst. Nora posted in our extended family's online group, lamenting how heartbroken she was that her own brother wouldn't support her during the most pivotal moment of her life. She didn't directly mention the condo situation, but the implication was obvious. Now, relatives I haven't spoken to in years are commenting about the importance of family unity. The thing is, I keep questioning myself. Is it really such a big deal? It's only 4 months, but then I think deeper. It's not just the hassle of living in a cramped studio. It's the principle. It's the fact that they want me to partake in misleading Julian's family. It's that Nora has never once recognized the effort I put into earning that condo. It's that she feels entitled to the rewards of my hard work just because she's getting married. And what if something goes wrong? What if they damage something? What if Julian's family wants to visit again after the wedding? What if they refuse to move out? What if this is just the start of Nora expecting me to give up my achievements to uphold her facade? Update 1, 2 weeks later. Well, Reddit, your responses to my original post were overwhelming and exactly what I needed to hear. Over 600 comments, and while a few suggested I should just help my sister, the vast majority confirmed what I already felt deep down. This request was outrageous. Things escalated quickly after my first post. She started sharing old childhood photos of us with captions like, "Remember when family came first?" and "Missing when my brother was my biggest supporter." My mom bought into it completely, calling me in tears, claiming I was tearing the family apart. But then something unexpected happened. My best friend, Mia, stepped in, and everything shifted. I need to tell you about Mia because she's the true star of this story. We met in college as computer science majors. She was a coding genius but shocked everyone in our junior year when she switched to marketing. "I realized I love working with people more than code," she said. After graduation, while I pursued software engineering, she became a real estate agent. Everyone thought she was nuts for leaving tech stability for commission-based work, but Mia had a vision. She focused on helping young professionals buy their first homes. She understood their needs, spoke their language, and mastered the Seattle market like no one else. Within 6 years, she was one of the top agents at her agency. She helped me find my condo, negotiating so fiercely that the seller's agent looked defeated by the end. When I told Mia about the situation, she was livid. "This is absolutely ridiculous. Also, Caleb, do you realize what's insane? For what they're spending on this extravagant wedding, they could probably afford a down payment on their own place." That's when she got that spark in her eye, the one that means she's hatching a plan. "Give me Nora's number," she said. "Mia, I don't think, trust me, I'm going to fix this, and everyone will be grateful." Update 2, 1 month later. I have to continue this update because what Mia did next was brilliant. She called Nora that same day, presenting herself not as my friend but as a real estate agent who'd heard through industry contacts that an engaged couple might be looking to upgrade their living situation before their wedding. Nora was skeptical at first. "Did Caleb send you?" "Who's Caleb?" Mia asked, playing innocent. "I got your info from a wedding planner friend who said you're getting married and might be house hunting. Is this a bad time?" Mia's genius was in her approach. She didn't criticize or judge. Instead, she spoke Julian's language. At a coffee meeting with both of them, she came armed with market data, investment forecasts, and a full pitch on the benefits of homeownership versus renting. "The Seattle market is in a sweet spot right now," she told them. "Rates are steady, inventory strong, and there are first-time buyer programs you'd qualify for. Have you considered owning instead of renting to build wealth?" Julian, Mr. MBA, was hooked instantly. "We've thought about it, but down payments are tough," he said. "Have you explored low down payment options?" Mia asked, pulling up her tablet. "With an FHA loan, you only need 3.5% down. For a $450,000 property, that's about $15,750. With your combined incomes, that's achievable." She showed them listings, charming one-bedroom condos and even some smaller two-bedroom units in emerging neighborhoods. She framed it not as settling for less than my condo but as a savvy financial move. "This building," she said, pointing to a renovated loft in Ballard, "is in an area that's appreciating fast. By now, and in 5 years, your property could be worth 35 to 45% more. That's not just a home, it's a wealth-building asset." Julian's mindset shifted immediately. Suddenly, this wasn't about impressing his parents with a flashy address. It was about proving his financial foresight, his investment savvy, his business acumen. Over the next 2 weeks, Mia worked with them tirelessly. She got them pre-approved for a loan, haggled with sellers, and found them a stunning one-bedroom condo with a study that could pass as a second bedroom. It had exposed brick, refinished oak floors, and a kitchen with a sleek island. Not as luxurious as my place, but warm and authentic, And crucially, there's final update. 2 months later. Nora's wedding was last weekend, and I need to share how this all wrapped up, because the change has been incredible. After Mia's intervention, Nora and Julian closed on their condo 2 weeks before the wedding. The shift in Nora was immediate and striking. She went from playing the victim online to posting excitedly about their homeownership journey and building our future. She started a blog about being a new homeowner, sharing tips on affordable decor and small-scale renovations. The wedding itself was gorgeous but more restrained than originally planned. They redirected some of the wedding budget toward their down payment, and the event felt more heartfelt for it. The ceremony was in a community garden, intimate and personal. The reception was at a cozy downtown bistro. Not the $600 per plate venue they'd first booked, but elegant and warm. During my best man speech, yes, Nora still asked me to be her man of honor despite everything. I spoke about growth, about building something authentic rather than something that just looks good. Nora teared up, but they were joyful tears. Julian's parents were impressed. His mother pulled me aside at the reception. "I'm so pleased Nora and Julian are starting their marriage with such smart financial planning. So many young couples live beyond their means, but your sister and Julian are creating something real." The best moment came when Nora found me on the patio during the reception. "Caleb," she said, "I owe you an apology. Not just for asking for your condo, but for not seeing what you saw from the start. Your condo isn't just a place. It's your accomplishment, your stability, your pride. I had no right to try to take that. You found your own accomplishment," I said, nodding toward Julian, who was eagerly explaining their investment strategy to anyone who'd listen. "We did," she agreed. "And it feels so much better than any pretense we could have pulled off." When Julian's mom asked about their place, they showed her photos and shared their 5-year plan, their budget, their goals. She was genuinely impressed, saying it reminded her of when she and Julian's father were starting out. Mia gave a speech at the reception that stole the show. "Nora and Julian didn't need to borrow someone else's success," she said. "They needed to create their own. And that's exactly what they did. Their condo may not have panoramic windows or a waterfront view, but it has something more valuable. It's the foundation of their future, earned through their own effort and planning. The family dynamics have completely transformed since then. The family group chat Nora used to paint me as the bad guy is now filled with her posts about DIY projects and budget decorating ideas. My mom has stopped guilt-tripping me and now brags to her friends about both her kids being homeowners. My dad pulled me aside last week and said, 'You did the right thing.' Nora needed that lesson." Nora and Julian just returned from their honeymoon, a modest trip to Costa Rica instead of the grand European tour they'd initially planned. They used the savings to furnish their condo. "It's Target, not West Elm," Nora laughed, showing me photos. "But we put it together ourselves, and that makes it ours." Julian has become insufferable in a new way. Instead of name-dropping Yale every chance he gets, he now rambles about property appreciation and loan amortization. But there's an authenticity to his excitement that wasn't there before. He's proud of something he actually achieved, not something he's pretending to have. Mia's real estate business has taken off. She landed 4 new clients from the wedding alone, and Nora has referred 6 of her colleagues to her. She jokes that she should add "family mediator" to her business cards. Last week, we all had dinner at Nora and Julian's condo. It's small, the kitchen's tight, and you can hear the neighbors occasionally. But Nora made dinner in her own kitchen, Julian showed. Off a side table he'd refinished himself, and the pride on their faces was worth more than any view of Puget Sound. "You know what I realized?" Nora said as we were leaving. "If you'd given us your condo, we'd never have discovered what we could do on our own. We'd have started our marriage with a falsehood and reliance on someone else. Instead, we started with something that's truly ours. My condo is still my condo. Every morning, I still smile at my view, still appreciate my custom storage, still love my home office. But now I value it even more, knowing I helped my sister find her own sense of accomplishment. To everyone who told me to hold firm, thank you. You helped me see that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to enable someone's worst instincts. Nora didn't need my condo. She needed the push to earn her own. My wedding gift to Nora and Julian was a custom plaque for their condo that reads, "Earned, not borrowed." Nora hung it by their front door, and she says it reminds her daily that the best things in life are the ones you work for yourself. Mia, the hero of this story, is now planning to write a book called Real Estate, Real Truth: How Housing Honesty Builds Stronger Bonds. Nora's agreed to write the foreword, and I've been asked to contribute a chapter on setting boundaries. Funny how a request that nearly broke our family ended up bringing us closer, just not in the way anyone expected. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is the chance to discover their own resilience.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a twist. Stay tuned to Reddit Tales Times for your daily dose of drama, laughs, and unbelievable stories.